For the last part of our anatomy of articulation lecture today, we are going to talk about how the articulatory system depends on three important structures: the lips, tongue, and the soft palate. So we know that the lips are really important for speech because they need to move to help shape the sounds. The lips are really important in facial expression and speech. They have a rich vascular supply, and they have social, cultural, and aesthetic value. So think about what our society thinks of as perfect looking lips. Typically, most people get plastic surgery to have the plumpest, fullest lips. So the tongue occupies the floor of the mouth. It can also act as an organ of expression. So think about when people stick out their tongue, they can express certain things with it. Movement of the tongue depends on its own musculature, and we'll be talking about the muscles of the tongue in another lecture. And then also on the tongue, the taste buds are located in the papillae on the tongue, and they convey different taste. Third structure that's really important is the velum, or soft palate. The muscles of the velum elevate the structure to completely separate the oral and nasal areas. So when the velum lifts up, it closes off the oral cavity and it separates it from the oral cavity from the nasal cavity. So most of the time when we're talking and when we're swallowing, the velum is closed. So nothing goes into, food doesn't go into our nose, and then the air comes out through our mouth. Now, when the velum is down, when it's depressed and it's open, there's only a few English speech sounds that are nasal speech sounds where we have the air going through our nose. So those of you who are taking phonetics this semester or have taken it previously have talked about the nasal sounds, which are M, N, and ing. And those sounds require air to go out through our nasal cavities. Okay, so those are three really important structures for articulation: the tongue, the lips, and the velum. I'm just going to say one word about cleft palate and cleft lip, because this falls into the category of thinking about articulation, because the structures that we use for articulation are altered in children with cleft lip and cleft palates. So this happens during embryonic development, and in the early first trimester, there is incomplete closure of the lips and hard and soft palates. And so you can see different pictures. This is just one side of a cleft lip. This is a cleft palate. You can see the palate is open. Obviously, since these structures are different, their articulation is going to sound very different than someone whose structures are completely closed. Okay, so in conclusion, the articulatory system is made up of mobile and immobile articulators. You need to know the bones of the face, the cranial skeleton, and the teeth we discussed. And there are four cavities: the oral in our mouth, the buccal between our lips and, between our cheeks and our teeth, the pharyngeal cavities, which is down our throat, and the nasal cavity.